have a lot of new things, and we're going to start with the software keyboard. So you know that we're trying to bring you the realest experience possible when it comes to simulating devices. We want to bring you as close as possible to a real device. So in this new version, what we're adding is the simulation of a software keyboard. So if you want to enable and disable this feature, is enabled by default, but you can go to plugins and keyboard mode, and you can find it in the plugins. If you want to disable, of course, you can just go into plugins and disable it. In keyboard mode, we have 3 different global modes: show the keyboard when focused on an input, always show the keyboard, and hide a keyboard. I think the first one is the one that you would want to enable all the time. So show the keyboard when focused on an input. We try to model like a universal resizable keyboard instead of making separate keyboards for separate devices. That's why the keyboard looks like this. So it's universal for iPhone and it's universal for Pixel, for Android devices. And you can grab and resize the keyboard, and whatever size you're going to choose for the keyboard is going to stay the size for that device. We decided on this because it's very complex to implement all the different keyboards, and people have like custom keyboards on their phones, and some of the custom keyboards or even the default keyboards on Android are resizable, and you can just change their height by dragging or in settings, or like there's so many variations, and we didn't want to force certain keyboard height. So that's why we went with a dynamic one, and that's why the look is universal. We don't have an iOS versus Android look. If you open it on a tablet, it looks something like this. You can also resize it here, and we implemented different behavior between iOS and Android. So what iOS is trying to do is always center the fields, bring it in centered. So you can see that the fields are going to go in center, and what Android is doing is, if the field is in view, it's not going to try to center it. If it's already in view, it's just going to show it as it is, and that's it. You can also, when you focus with tab and jumping through field, the keyboard is also going to stay. So you don't have to click on fields. You can also focus them programmatically, whether it's with tab or with a function that you call. The keyboard will still work. And yeah, as I said, it's resizable. It works in landscape, it works in portrait, and you can force it from here to always show it and always hide it. And what you can do is have individual keyboard settings per device. So let's say that you want to test how the keyboard looks like when you have it on one device, and when you don't have it on one device, you want to check how the page looks like. So you can go in more, and you can choose keyboard mode, and now you can override the keyboard mode for this device. So you can say hide the keyboard. So no matter what, for the iPhone 11 Pro, the keyboard will be always hidden, and you can just change the settings here. So when you have overridden settings, you can also do this like by right clicking and clicking keyboard mode and hiding it here. And now you're going to see here that it says 2 devices has overridden the keyboard mode, reset. So if you want, you can just reset from here, and now all devices will have the same mode. So you can control it here for the global settings, or you can control it device by device, depending on what do you want for each device, if you want to simulate certain scenarios, and so on and so forth. I think that's it about the keyboard. We are planning to improve a lot of things. We're planning to add dark mode, maybe eventually make the keyboard look exactly like it looks like on iOS and on Android, and maybe even make it functional one day so you can click on the buttons to input. That wouldn't be that useful. Yeah, the keyboard also switches based on the types of input. So if you go like in a normal input, you're gonna see that we have like this autocomplete row, but if you go in a password input, you're gonna see that autocomplete row is now gone. And we also have a special keyboard that pops up when you focus on an input field, and we're planning to improve them and make them as correct as we can, because at the end of the day, Sizzy doesn't simulate a real browser engine, so there's always going to be some differences between the real devices and these devices, but we're trying our best to bring you as close as possible. The keyboard is not purely cosmetic, so actually it's not just not just showing you a keyboard here. It actually changes the window, the available height. So when you use that variable, I think it's window.inner height or one of those window variables, it's actually going to be changed, so you can actually test some certain scenarios based when the keyboard is open or not. It's not just the UI element that pops on top of the devices. And that's it for the keyboard. Next up, we have new workflows for Alfred. I just said Alfred. It's not Alfred. We call it Butler because it's similar to Alfred, what Alfred does in the in macOS. So we try to, if you're using a different operating system or you don't have Alfred or macOS, we're trying to bring as many useful features in our Butler. So what's new in our Butler is the following thing. We have workflows. So previously we added search engines. Now we have workflows, and we have 3 workflows. Can I use npm and font awesome? So I'm going to show you. I'm going to trigger Butler here by doing Command Shift P, Control Shift P on Windows actually, and I'm going to type can I use background. So you can see now you can actually use keywords. So can I use is a keyword, and you can search certain services like can I use, and you can press enter. This is going to open a tab in the reference browser, and you can get the can I use page. Next up we have the npm one, so you can search for npm styled components maybe, and style components, and this is going to give you search results for npm. You can click on the search result. It's going to open a tab in the reference browser, and you can easily access any npm package. And the last one is font awesome, so you can just go to font awesome and search for box, for example. It's going to give you all the icons, and you can just copy the class name and just paste it somewhere, and you will get the font awesome class name. In the next version, we're going to actually give you previews on the icons. So this was step 1. We have to make it functional. And in step 2, we're also going to show you the icons, so you will see which icon are you copying exactly. And hopefully this is going to save you a lot of time. We want to make this open to user contribution. So we want you to create plugins for Butler, and hopefully we're going to allow that soon. For now, it's only going to be the built-in workflows. But if you have any ideas, please let us know about what would you want to see that maybe already exists in Alfred and you want us to port it in Butler, or something unique to Sizzy that we can put in Butler. So you can always disable these workflows if you're not planning to use them. And we're also going to allow you to customize the keywords in the future. For now, the keywords are fixed for these 3 workflows. And that's new regarding the Butler workflows, but we also added something new for the search engines. Now you can add keywords to the search engines. Previously, you can if you search for something like low-pick, you would get these search engines, but there was no way for you to directly use an engine like Stack Overflow, Google npm package, or GitHub or whatever. So you had to actually search for something random in order to get the engine. Now you can actually assign keywords to them. So you can go in Butler search engines, and maybe for Stack Overflow we're going to add like SO. For Google we're going to add, well actually for the built-in ones we already have keywords. For GitHub we have GH, and for npm package I think I already added this when I was trying to record this video earlier. That's why we have the keywords. Usually you shouldn't have the keywords here, so you must add a keyword for this to work. And I'm gonna add package here. So let's see how this works now. If I search for GH Twizzle, this is gonna search GitHub. If I search for SO help with Lodash or whatever, this is gonna search Stack Overflow. If I search for package and I go to Lodash, this is gonna directly go to npm package Lodash. And what else did we have? I already forgot. What do we have? GitHub, Google. Yeah, we have Google, of course. And you can add your own ones. Previously enabled you to do that. The keywords must be, they cannot be empty, and they must be unique. So a keyword cannot clash with the keyword of a workflow. So if you're trying to use something like can I use, this is not going to be possible because can I use is already used in a workflow. So you must use something unique here. And this should be pretty nifty for, you know, quickly navigating and searching things in the reference browser. Hopefully that's going to save you a bunch of time. Next up, we have a lot of new changes in this release. Next up, we have the new devices. So first off, I have to enable them because I think in the previous video I disabled them from settings, manage devices. Yeah, these are the new ones: Pixel 4, Note 10, Note 10 Plus, Galaxy S20 Ultra, S20 Plus, and S20. So if I go to the device drawer here, you're gonna see that we have a bunch of new devices, and I'm gonna drag them just to show you. We have S20 Ultra, S20 Plus, S20, Note 10 Plus, Note 10, Pixel 4, and Pixel 4 XL. I think those are the new devices. Yeah, those should be the new devices. They have the frames, they have you know, everything is adjusted to make the device as real as possible. And soon we're gonna add a way for you to create your own devices and basically have an easy way for you to share your created devices with frames with other users, so the collection will grow. And as the collection grows, you wouldn't want to see certain devices in your device drawer because this is getting, you know, it's too many devices and most of them share different specs, so maybe you don't want to have duplicates and so on and so forth. So instead of bloating this drawer and bloating Butler here, because in Butler you can search for any device and jump to any device at any time. So I can go to like iPhone 8 and jump to iPhone 8, or I can go back to all devices. what we allow you to do, if you want to remove certain devices from the drawer, from your workspace, and from Butler, you can go in settings and manage devices. And if you uncheck them from here, these are going to be deleted forever, disabled forever. You're not going to see them in Butler. You're not going to see them anywhere. If you want to remove them from your workspace, you just hide them from here. So as you can see, they're going to disappear from the workspace, but they're still going to be in the drawer. So if you don't like to see certain devices, you can go in settings, manage devices, and you can just disable the ones that you don't want to see, and they're never going to be shown again in your device drawer, in your workspace. You see they disappeared. And if I try to search for them in Butler, they're not going to be there. So those are the new devices.